The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today's date is May 22nd, 2025, and the time is 8:51 a.m. My name is Danny Barra. I'm the chairman today. And Ms. Carolyn Stapleton to my left, and I have Mr. Steve Prater on Zoom. The panel today is at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge. Staff, please introduce yourself for the record.
Yes, something. Sure, thank you.
Today, our remote location is Tangipahoa Parish Jail. If there are any staff members in the room, would they please introduce yourself for the record? Any jail staff with you?
No, sir, I'm the only one in here.
Oh, okay. Then Mr. Peterson, introduce yourself by giving us your full name and your DOC number for the record.
Now, Demetri Peterson, DOC number 511197.
Okay. I'm reviewing that your preliminary hearing paperwork from the hearing they did at the jail, and it was determined that you're not eligible for appointed counsel based on the Supreme Court guidelines that you can read and write and understand what we're talking about. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to go over some violations with you, that the same ones that they did at the preliminary hearing, and ask you to same thing, pretty much the same style. Tell us whether you want to plead guilty to that violation, plead guilty with a statement, plead not guilty, or plead not guilty with a statement.
Sir.
And then we'll go through those violations, just guilty, not guilty, and then Mr. Prater, who's assigned your case, is going to take over from that point. So it looks like they advise you that you have violated condition number 3 when you were not residing at your residence of record on Quick Boulevard in Hammond, Louisiana, and that you did not report the new address. Your whereabouts were unknown until 6/25/24, when probation officers received notification from the Tangipahoa Sheriff that you were arrested and placed in their jail. How do you plead to that one?
Not guilty with a statement.
All right, the second number 3C says, according to the federal rap sheet, this subject ran on 3/11/25, you're arrested in the state of Texas on 2/6/24, a charge of possession of a controlled dangerous substance and possession of marijuana. This arrest was under your alias, Christopher McNeil. How do you plead to that?
Not guilty with a statement.
Number 9, that you absconded supervision and a warrant was issued for you on 12/7/23. You did not report change in your address, and your whereabouts were unknown, making it impossible for your parole officer to see you. How do you plead to that one?
Not guilty with a statement.
And number 10, as of 7/17/24, record reflect that you're currently delinquent $1,286 on your fees, as well as your processing fee. How do you plead to that one?
Guilty with a statement.
All right. And then condition number 4B, you were involved in criminal activity in that you were arrested in the state of Texas on 2/6/24 for a charge of possession of controlled dangerous substance, marijuana. At the time of your arrest, you were in possession of 2.1 ounces of marijuana, 11 grams of cocaine, 10 grams of crack cocaine, 4 grams of Cadoxin. This arrest was verified through fingerprints by running your federal rap sheet under the alias Christopher McNeil. How do you plead to that one?
Not guilty with a statement.
All right. At this point, we're going to turn the hearing over to Mr. Prater, who's going to review those violations with you and get your statements. So go ahead, Sheriff Prater.
Could we hear from, is Ms. Peterson gonna speak or not? Or is she just listening? Is anyone speaking besides just?
Yeah, we have his wife, Ms.
Okay.
Candace.
Could we hear her statement before I go into the interview?
Yeah. Let's pull up, we have a little bit out of order. We have Ms. Candace Peterson, who was here to speak in favor on Zoom. So we'll take her statement now.
Good morning.
Good morning. You can go ahead and tell us what you'd like to tell us about.
My name is Candace Peterson, and I'm here on behalf of my husband, Demetri Peterson. First of all, I want to say I understand the seriousness of all the offenses, associated with why we're here today. However, I just want you to know that my husband, like all of us, he's made mistakes in the past, but overall, he's an honest, responsible, empathetic, and a very good dad. So I'm just basically asking you for grace today regarding everything that's occurred that got us here to this day. Because since his incarceration, I notice constant change. I mean, I talk to him on a daily basis, and I feel like he's not the same person. He's changed tremendously.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Now I'll turn my attention to Mr. Peterson. Mr. Peterson, you said you wanted to make a statement. Why don't you tell us what your statement is about absconding is the first one, where you were we didn't know where you were for over a year until you were arrested. Tell us about that.
I still lived at the apartment. I still lived at the apartment on Quick Boulevard up until my arrest. I never moved. Like me and my parole officer, like we all only thing we did was he said he would pop up every now and then to check on me. You know what I'm saying? He never came to check on me, you know, since I was released. I still lived in that same apartment up until my arrest. My mail still there. I'm still on the lease there. I still currently lived up until my prior arrest. I never moved.
Did you know you were supposed to report?
I mean, ever since COVID, when I was released, he never told me I had to report every month like it was before COVID. None of that was never put in place. He just said he'll come to the apartment when he needed to check on me, when he needed to see me or whatnot, and that was about it.
You before the parole board before?
No, sir.
Did you have something in December of 23
December 23.
where you were accused of absconding?
No, sir. I never had nothing in December 23. December 23.
Okay, I'll look on there and find out what my notes say in just a moment, but let's continue. So, were you arrested in Tangipahoa?
Usually, talking about this arrest I'm arrested for right now, currently.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and are you supposed to be in Tangipahoa?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. And what did they do with those charges?
What are the charges? Oh, I was found not guilty by a judge on those charges.
Okay, but you were arrested over there for the charges.
Yes,
And
sir.
when you were in jail, did they run a check on you to found out you'd been arrested in Texas?
Yes, sir. I think so. Once I've been arrested, I think my parole officer had ran a check and found I was arrested in Texas.
Were you supposed to be in Texas?
No, sir, not at the time. I haven't spoken to my parole officer to get his permission.
Okay, so you weren't supposed to be in Texas and you were arrested. And did you give a fake name?
Yes, sir. To be honest with you.
Okay, well, I appreciate you being honest with you. And what did they do with the Texas charges?
I thought the charges was dropped. Currently, right now, I can't really tell you. I thought they was dropped.
Okay, because I can't find whether they was dismissed or not. But your whereabouts were unknown for 14 months until you were arrested on warrants out of New Orleans for gun charges that occurred on 7/23. And then we found out that you had been arrested on 2/24 in Texas where you weren't supposed to be. And you owe a good bit of money because over $1,300. Of course, we wouldn't revoke you for the $1,300. You know, we try to work out a payment plan or something like that because we don't run a debtor's prison or anything like that. We try to work with you on it, but I don't know if we can work with you on this other stuff. So explain to me, you wanted to give a statement. I want you to explain away everything I've asked you about.
All right, the charges that I was currently arrested on, those charges I was found not guilty by a judge. And like my payments, my past payments, like I was going through a hard time. You know, I just was released and I was trying to get myself together work wise and stuff like that. But if y'all was the reinstatement today, I could pay my fines and fees up in full. Like, and at this point in my life, like I'm just ready to do. I just tried everything. Like, you know, I didn't live. I didn't try to cheat. I didn't try to. You know, I done try to force it. I done try to, you know, I done tried everything but trying to live right. At this point in my life, I just want to try to do things right. I just want to get my life back on track and try to do things the right way. Like, if I would be released, if I was to be reinstated, I can pay my fines and fees. I would constantly stay in contact with my parole officer. Now the charge in Texas, I'm under the president. Those charges have been dropped. No, I didn't have no right to be in Texas, but I was in Texas to surprise my daughter for her birthday. I was trying to go out to surprise her for her birthday and come back. And I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I apologize for that. And I apologize for not letting my parole officer know where I was at the time. I apologize for that.
Well, okay, I understand. Apologies are important, but it's also important that you abide by the rules. What is says that if I'm reading this thing right on page 2 on 5/9 of 2022, 9/23 of 2022, and 12/7 of 2023, they had a warrant for you and you're sent to a 6-month treatment program.
Oh, yes, sir. I had 6 months in work release.
Okay, and that was because of a previous violation, right?
Yeah, it was a misdemeanor, yes, sir.
But that was for absconding, right?
No, sir, that was for a disturbing the peace, a misdemeanor.
Well, I'm just reading the report. It says conditions absconded, 410 absconded.
I never had absconding. I never been recommended for no absconding. This is the first time I ever had absconding. That was for a misdemeanor for a disturbing the peace, a misdemeanor.
Okay, convicted, and he was, okay, so yeah, it says that you had a pending felony charge and assault charges, and you were convicted of a disturbing the peace, but you're not eligible for a technical violation due to it being on supervision for a crime of violence.
Yes, those gun charges. I was found not guilty. I was found not guilty by a judge on those charges.
Okay, but I'm just trying to figure out why it says the conditions that you absconded. Anyway, you were sent. So but the truth of the matter is you screwed up on your parole back then.
Well, I had a misdemeanor, disturbing the peace, a misdemeanor.
Yeah, but ain't that screwed up on your parole? Don't argue with me. Just tell me.
Yeah. I mean, basically, yes. I'm not arguing with you. I mean, basically, yes.
Okay, just because it's a misdemeanor, that's what it was dropped down to. And all right, Mr. Chairman, I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Chairman?
None. Mm-mm.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, I'm prepared to vote if it's appropriate, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, you're the first vote.
Okay, I'm Mr. Peterson. I don't have any choice really but to revoke you. You've not done good on your parole last time we tried you, and then this time, and going over to Texas and using a false name and getting arrested for drugs and getting arrested in New Orleans. He said, I know you want to be a different person, but you hadn't shown us that you're a different person other than by words. And so therefore my vote today is to revoke you.
I concur with Mr. Prater.
And I'll concur with Mr. Prater for the same reason. So, Mr. Peterson, what that means is effective today, your parole has been revoked. And this will conclude our business with you today at the Tangent Parish Jail at 9:06 a.m.